Stones become stronger by being connected. Looser connections allow you to stretch your position out further, while tighter ones make your position less vulnerable. The type of connection that is appropriate depends on the situation. The diagram below illustrates a number of basic possibilities. Oh, I didn't see you there. Hey, Derek, how's your book going?
Oh, hello, Thomas. It's terrific. Here I am reading The Ethics of Liberty by Murray Rothbard.
Serious stuff.
Well, let's put this down
Suddenly, everything...
for a moment. What do you say?
It went, meow.
Well, that sounds like fun. Let's talk about Bitcoin, shall we? There's a lot of stuff going on this week. First of all, every one of my friends are talking about how awesome the Airbits wallet is. This new Airbits wallet. It's not that new, but it's got some pretty great features that set it apart from the other wallets.
That's cool. Yeah, we saw a presentation by Airbit's CEO last night at, or I don't know, his name. I don't know if he's the CEO. But yeah, we saw a presentation by Paul Pui last night in the Bitcoin meetup in San Francisco, and it was a really good presentation. He talked about not so much, he didn't really focus on Airbits, he talked about the different decisions they had to make when they were choosing what kind of a wallet to make. And the details, and the interesting thing is, think about how many wallets there are now. How many, not just like different companies making wallets, but different types of wallets. He talked about like multi-sig. He talked about bank-type wallets like Coinbase. He talked about independent free wallets like blockchain.info. And he also talked about, new kinds of wallets and, HD wallets, which it sounds like the first wallet owns all the wallets, and then it keeps making new wallets for every transaction, which sounds like a really great thing. So I'm pretty much in favor of those. And then he talked about cold storage and the interest of, paper cold storage wallets and what that's like. And it was a really good presentation. He also had these slides that it was like kinetic typography kind of, where it started out with like a huge thing, and then it zoomed in on the first slide, and then it zoomed back out and zoomed in on the second slide. It was a pretty cool presentation style. Like you knew where, like when he finished, you'd like seen all the slides. It was pretty cool.
That is really cool. So
Yeah.
what about the wallet? Have you used it?
I tried to download it, but my phone ran out of batteries last night, and I haven't gotten back to it.
All right. Well, I've been able to download it successfully, and when you pull it up, it just looks like this. So when I opened up the blockchain wallet for the first time, I was greeted with a little thing that said, like put in a PIN. And I was like, another step.
Yeah, the blockchain wallet is really complicated. You have to put in a PIN, put in a username and a password.
Yeah, but I just opened this up literally since we've been talking, since I brought it up. I just went to the Play Store, downloaded this, installed it, and here it is. And I'm greeted with a couple of different options. You can see here it's restaurants and bars, coffee and tea, nightclubs, more categories. And then there's some other options. There's some visual things that I can see. There are some stores nearby with location, places that accept Bitcoin. You can see 0.4 miles away is Moda Salon. That's a place where I got my hair done today, paid in Bitcoin. And then you can also go to Corner News, 0.7 miles away, and spend Bitcoin there. Your request, send, wallets. Great wallet. I'm going to use this. I'm going to see how it works for me and see what places. It'll probably help me discover places nearby that accept Bitcoin. For example, I didn't know the Thomas Carroll Garden Center 6 miles away accepts Bitcoin. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, there you go.
Or that there's a motorcycle store 33 miles away that accepts Bitcoin. It's awesome also. I didn't know about that. So check these places out, and cool wallet. Easy to use. I'm liking it.
Sounds good. I'm downloading it right now. We'll see how it goes. It's interesting when you search for it in the App Store. I search for Airbits. It comes up Bitcoin Wallet, Map, and Directory by Airbits. So they really are explaining what the product is, and like you said, it had a bunch of stores around you that you didn't know about. So that's great for everybody, and I think it would be also great for traveling. If you go to a new area and you need to know what's around you, you could check that out. I do think that the blockchain app has a similar directory type system. I'm not sure which would be better or how they would stack up, but that would be an interesting comparison.
Yeah, I used to like, I think it was called spendbitcoins.com, where one of those places, CoinMap was
Yep,
the where
CoinMap's a big one.
yeah, where you could add your business to the map. But I think Airbits did it a little bit differently, and maybe you'll have more information on this, Thomas. But didn't Airbits actually do their own legwork of verifying the different businesses that they include in their directory?
I think they did. He didn't talk very much about Airbits. He mainly talked about different types of wallets. And what I was really impressed that Airbits has done is they're actually working with the dark wallet people, code together, and they're using part of the dark wallet code into the Airbits system. And they were even talking about trying to adapt stealth addresses to Airbits and the need for everyone to use a technology like stealth addresses. Because right now, if you have such a small amount of people using them, you could just look at all of them. If everyone was using them, it would be mixing up all the transactions or leading to the mixing up. So it was really neat to see them working with the dark wallet developers.
Yeah, so now the next step that I'm seeing when I open up this wallet is that I have to somehow, I want to start using the wallet. I clicked receive so that I can fill up the wallet with some Bitcoins. Mm-hmm. And now I have to do a sign-up process. Well, this is a little longer and more annoying than the blockchain wallet because I have to include a username and re-enter a password twice and create a 4-digit PIN, whereas blockchain's just a 4-digit PIN. So
blockchain has the username and password now, I think. And they might take
on the phone wallet though. Once you sync them, it would.
They might take an email.
Yeah. Well, this is kind of annoying. So I'm going to go through this little process. We'll see how long this takes.
Let's see. Showing me all the places in my area.
Insufficient password. Man, this is such a pain. I hate when the passwords have to be certain this or that, and oh, you don't have this. Okay, let's try again.
The map thing zooms out a lot. Having a lot of zoom.
So one of the other features I like is this is visually the best looking wallet that I've used yet. Mycelium is pretty nice. Blockchain's 2.0 version is looking better, but this has like gradient tones and it's.
Yeah, he said it was pretty, and it really is pretty. And what I like here is that it's got this. I don't know if it's going to work on the screen here, but it's got this visual scroll bar of images of the various locations nearby that take Bitcoin, the sparse offerings. And what's nice is that if you scroll it up, it goes up to like Reno, which is an hour and a half away, but apparently they have a major community there that's taking Bitcoin, and you could just keep scrolling until you get somewhere that has Bitcoin. So that's a pretty neat feature to just be able to look like the Sandman Hotel. I don't even know where that is. Let's see, it's in Surrey, British Columbia. The Sandman Hotel takes Bitcoin. So that's pretty cool. Like I feel like I'm traveling the world through places that take Bitcoin. Which,
I think one of the cool things about that visualization of local places is the pictures that they had, at least for the Moda Salon and the Corner News. They're full screen images. They're high quality, high res images. They don't look junky. That's the bottom line. It's like it's you're sifting through the virtual white pages, as it were, for places that accept Bitcoin, but it's not as ugly as the white pages. You actually get to see a little picture of what they look like. It's pretty. That's nice. Now, the other thing is, once this wallet is open, this is what it's going to look like. And I noticed right off the bat that they signify the amount in millibits. Can you see that there? They do not denote the amount in Bitcoins, but both in millibits and U.S. dollars. So I'm going to... A lot of
people are starting to default to millibits. I'm looking at businesses that take Bitcoin in Las Vegas. There's quite a few, actually. It's not that bad.
Now, where's the closest business to you that it comes up? How far do you have to travel to spend Bitcoin in person?
Oh, in Sacramento, there's still one restaurant that takes it when the kid works at the register.
Why is that still so few, and why is it just that one kid? I have the problem here with Corner News, which I've complained about in the past, where depending on the person who's working, sometimes you can't spend Bitcoin there because they don't know how.
Well, even in San Francisco, the same thing. There's hardly any restaurants that take it, and those who do take it kind of take it in an old-fashioned way. Like they have a laminated QR code, and you just send them the money. Like the restaurant we went to yesterday that accepted it, my friends were paying in Bitcoin, and what they all said is that they pretty much had to be honest. Like if the Bitcoiners were not honest, you could have had a free meal because they weren't even checking the wallet to see that it had a confirmation or anything. They just had a QR code, and they're hoping that Bitcoiners are honest. So you
Right.
must be nice people.
Well, that's true. There are places that I've spent Bitcoin in Philadelphia, like bagel places, coffee shops, where they've got the laminated QR code, and they pretty much just trust their customers. Like, hey, I don't know if you're sending it, I hope so. You know, I'm not going to check your phone and try and verify, but yeah, it involves a lot of trust. I'd like to see them upgrade, but yeah, like I was saying here in Keene, depending on the person who's working. I got my hair cut at the salon. The girl at the register, she knew enough to take my phone and scan the QR code, but she was asking, like, so how does this work? Like, what's going on here? Like, she knew how to do it, but she didn't know what was happening. And it's kind of complicated to explain, but I just pretty much said it's like virtual gold, and you do whatever you would to acquire gold, and then you spend it wherever you want.
Yeah, that's a good explanation. That's nice and fast. But yeah, there's definitely some costs in explaining to your employees not only how it works, but how they're supposed to use it. An interesting program that was the second speaker last night at the Bitcoin meetup in San Francisco is Snapcard. Snapcard is giving out 500 tablets to 500 merchants in the Bay Area with the Snapcard merchant type system. It's kind of like a BitPay or a blockchain merchant app type system, and the merchants could then accept Bitcoin. And it sounds like a really interesting program. They're giving a $20 bounty if you get anyone to accept Bitcoin for you, for them, and they're sending out teams of people to train them how to use these registers, I guess, and it should be an interesting program. It's called Integrate SF. They have that hashtag.
Yeah.
And he gave a presentation mainly just talking about it was interesting because all the things that I've been talking about, like as spreading Bitcoin as a political campaign, maybe doing the roadshow idea where we travel and do that kind of thing, professional businesses are actually trying to do this too. And what Snapcard had was a nice little list of what to do and what not to do when trying to spread Bitcoin. And they said things like, don't explain that Bitcoin's a protocol. The word protocol completely loses people. A lot of other things, just what things to avoid when trying to explain new Bitcoin to new people and getting it successful. And it's definitely, there's a lot of education gap. We've gotten far. Like, people know about Bitcoin now. Everyone seems, we're all really inspired that most people know about Bitcoin. But unfortunately, the second step seems to be that they know that Bitcoin was used for drugs. And the third step is Bitcoin's used for some kind of other legal stuff, and then they might know about the Mt. Gox crash, or that people have been hacked and they've lost their money. So we have a pretty serious image problem in the Bitcoin right now.
Fortunately, so does every other currency in the world.
That's true, but we're like a new currency, so we feel like we're competing.
Yes, we are. I mean, Bitcoin is competing with all the other currencies in the world, but I think it's got better qualities at the moment. I mean, I could envision better ones, but yeah, I mean, compare. Yeah, okay, Bitcoin lost some of its value, so have dollars. So it's like, you know, the bad PR that Bitcoin has. Arguably, the dollar has much worse. People just don't know about it yet.
I think this is a good time to remind people if they'd like to call in.
Oh, yeah.
Call us at Bitcoin Talk Show, all one word, on Skype, or at 1-708-23-COINS.
Yep, that's correct.
And we have the chat room as well. We should check on the chat room. I'll bet do you have the chat room still open, Derek? Let me get every time I open a new window, it totally freaks out the system. So here it goes, everyone. Everything freaks out. Yeah, the new Google Hangouts is much less flexible than the old Google Hangouts. But yeah, I'll get this new window open here and get the chat room going, see what's going on. So it says nothing. There's nothing in the chat room, and there are 13 people watching.
So let's talk about the regulation madness that happened this week. People were freaking out saying, oh my gosh, they're exercising the nuclear option. I can't believe they're cracking down so hard, so fast. What was going on? What are they talking about?
Well, basically, FinCEN released 2 letters this week that were responses to an unnamed company. And we don't have, to my knowledge, we don't have the other side of these letters. So I don't know what the unnamed company asked for, and I don't know how they asked. And what we know is what FinCEN replied to them. And basically, I've read through the letters, and what FinCEN said is that to be involved in Bitcoin, like as an exchange, exchanging cash for Bitcoin, exchanging Bitcoin for Bitcoin, exchanging Bitcoin for currency X, exchanging currency X for currency Y, any of these things, they basically said you're a money transmitter, and that you fall under the old system of money transmission, that you need to do all of the know your customer regulation type things, which it's the status quo, and that's the existing system, and that they're saying that Bitcoin, they want to adopt it into the existing system, and that all these businesses have probably already gotten letters saying that they need to adopt this thing, and they need to start, like we found out with Charlie Shrem, the whole suspicious activity report. We might not know about that. We aren't banks, but we also aren't running exchanges. So if you're running an exchange, you're going to need all these things, is basically what it says.
Yeah, I just wonder what's going to happen. Going to say, oh, there's a bunch of rules we want you to follow now, and we didn't know about these, but we want to control this too. And there's always going to be those, lapdogs that go and comply with every single request the government makes. But then there's going to be those other people who say, you know what? That doesn't sit well with me. I don't like this violation on my customers' privacy, and I'm not going to hand over this private information to you, government, or I'm not going to comply with whatever your XYZ requests are. It's too costly, it's too immoral, or whatever the excuse is. They're not going to do it, and I want to see what's going to be the consequence for that.
Well, remember that long term, we're probably seeing the exit of Bitcoin from the United States here. The Bitcoin mines are going to start, the smart people are going to start leaving, and they're going to start going to other countries where they understand what's going on. And these softwares are going to continue to be developed. Wallets where you don't need to identify yourself. Even that right there, the fact that we were talking about Airbits, if you don't have to put in an email, if you don't really have to identify yourself, it's also the way that they store the key. It sounded like it was a lot more like blockchain.info, where they don't have access to any of your information. That right there could be made illegal by the new type of laws that they're thinking about.
So, important distinction at this point. Things can be made illegal, but that doesn't make them magically disappear.
True. They would continue to operate. The software itself would continue to run. You have to remember, think about during the Apple ban, when Apple shut down all the Bitcoin wallets in your account. Anyone that had previously installed those Bitcoin wallets got to keep using them. Things haven't gotten so bad that even a company like Apple, I guess if they wanted to, they could strike the apps down. They're getting pretty close. They probably have that now. But even they didn't do it. But they're basically, they would have to do that, and I don't think they can right now. There's too much software that's free. Like, they just don't have control of the layer to make it truly illegal and have it stop. They would make it illegal, and then they would have problems.
So everyone is a money transmitter, according to the government.
Every one of these businesses, every one of these. Now, the real issue comes when they have to look at something like local bitcoins. Local bitcoins is the most interesting thing right now, and again, it needs to be distributed. Like these companies that have built centralized institutions should open source their software and distribute their ideas before it's too late.
To make them drone-proof, essentially, right?
Huh?
To make them drone-proof, essentially, right? So there's not one
Yeah,
central
like
place.
the way that the Pirate Bay is a good example for everything because they've had so much stuff happen to them and yet they're still up. And their current website system, I've heard, is not one centralized server, but like a series of servers. And this way, if one of them goes down, the other ones are still up. And that all of these softwares now probably need to start operating in this mode of, what could happen.
Speaking of Pirate Bay, that reminds me of a story about torrents that I read at Torrent Freak. Have you heard of Joker.org?
Nope, what's that?
It is a website that allows you to stream torrent files from your browser without downloading any sort of um, like torrent program or whatever. It's just from the web. It's a web-based torrent downloader.
That sounds super cool.
Yeah, so you can use any link and download it just using this app on a website, Joker.org. Pretty cool.
Is it did they say who made it? Because I know a couple of high profile type programmers have tried to do that, and they're interested in it. I forget who it was. I'm trying to think of it, but maybe the Dig guy, somebody like that was, or maybe the Napster guy, or not the Napster, the new Winamp guy. I don't know. One of the big guys was way into that.
But I'll do a screen share here for you. If you can find some more information on it, it'd be much appreciated. But I can't find anything. This is as simple as it is. You paste your torrent or magnet link there, and it downloads right to your computer. Easy. Very simple. It's the future. And it reminds me that, as much as the government or authorities want to stop people from being able to share files or make certain behaviors illegal, it isn't going to stop those behaviors. So if people continue to think that laws or governments are the solution, I just want to continually bring counterexamples to show that despite what the laws say, people are going to do what they do. This is just one more example. And I would hope that that would ring true for this FinCEN regulation as well, that there would be businesses. I think you're right, Thomas. That they'll run the risk of refusing to comply within this geographic boundary. I could just as easily move somewhere else where it's less risky for my business, and for the individuals working at the business, that they're not risking jail time or hefty fines. So they're really shooting themselves in the foot, I believe, these regulators who think that they're, I guess, making the world safe for Bitcoin, making customers safe. I don't know what their perceived justification is, but really what they're doing is causing flight from the U.S.
They're treating people like children. They're saying there's a new technology out there called Bitcoin. You're too stupid to understand it. You're too stupid to use it, and we're here to save you. They're like the gods of tech support, and they're going to fix all of our problems. That's why I love it when Losky talks about how he's going to improve people's Bitcoin security. He doesn't understand paper wallets. He's never tried this stuff out. He could. It's available to him. There's instructions. But no, he doesn't seem to do that.
Yeah, one of the things that is just unbelievable to me is that we're currently faced with a group of really smart business people who have made, just millions of dollars providing goods and services to people in the Bitcoin space, technology and otherwise. And then you've got government people who have produced, the Obamacare website, for example, the DMV, for another example. And these intelligent, crude businessmen are putting their trust in these government people to direct them about security. I mean, it's so backwards. It feels like I'm reading a Kafka novel when I'm reading the news about this stuff. But it's like, my only hope is that there are good business people out there who are so willing to take a risk that they're willing to disobey bad laws.
Oh, they're going to have to do it in other countries. That's the only truth here. But it's interesting you mention all the people that are out there that are trying to change Bitcoin or getting into Bitcoin. I can announce that the World Crypto Network was recently invited to the Money 2020 conference this coming week in Las Vegas, Nevada. So we're going to be going and checking it out. We're going to be seeing many of these CEOs, many of these finance guys who are probably going to be wiped out when everything changes over to Bitcoin. They are having a large Bitcoin track. It looked like a part of a phone call, but they are having a Bitcoin track. That's what's going on.
Yeah, right on. We got Antoine on the line, I believe. And we're getting another call as well.
Yes, good evening.
Hello.
Yes, it's 10 here p.m. Beirut time.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was ringing you to for the announcement of our project, which is UCI Coin. Have you heard anything about our project?
No, tell us about it.
Yes, we are developing a coin, and it's an asset-backed coin with real assets that our company, UCI, owns. The people who hold this coin is like holding shares in our company, and will those shares, virtual shares, will yield dividends and profits from all the projects that we own, and those people will be paid a monthly or semesterly revenue. The launching is on 1st of November, and one of those big assets that our company owns is millions of shares in a company called Hydro Infra Technologies. The company in Sweden, they have invented the hydro nano gas, which reduces the carbon emission to 0% and increases the energy efficiency to 100%. And we, as UCI, we are the global representatives for Hydro Infra Technologies Sweden. We own many millions of shares. Current share price is €1, expected to grow up to 10 times in the coming 3 years. And we are also owners of co-owners in Diamond Circle Australia, the company that has launched the first cashless Bitcoin ATM. We hold more than 10 million shares in the company, which are now worth more than $250,000. And also we are backing the coin with Diamond Circle shares, Hydro Infra shares, and UCI, Universal Crowdfunding Investment Company shares, which is based now in Lebanon, and it will be also based in Switzerland in the 1st January, and it will be also based in UK. We will have many branches to our company, and we are acquiring an international trading and investment license. We have created the first decentralized crowdfunding platform. We fund the projects which are related to cryptocurrencies, and also other projects related to technology or to food and beverage using cryptocurrencies. And soon we are partnering with Go Miners and Zen Cloud. We will be white labeling their cloud mining products and packages. And also we are partnering with coinsetters.com, and they will offer us also maybe a white label to UCI. So it's a big list about UCI Coin, and I will let my partner Samuel Silva. Sam, are you there?
Hello?
Yes.
Hi, guys.
Sam, he will explain more about UCI Coin. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, UCI Coin, backed by shares such as Hydro Infra and Diamond Circle shares, which are a new line of Bitcoin ATMs. So we have a few partners worldwide working together to find new buyers of the coin, and then we are launching this crowd sale, so we'll accept Bitcoins for them.
Where can people learn more?
We have a link. Well, actually, UCIcoin.com.
Yes, it's currently in the
So it's u-ci-org.
And UCI Coin, UCIcoin.com is the website for the UCI Coin. Currently, we are launching the crowd sale. You can, if you go to UCIcoin.com, you will see a crowd sale page, which has the terms and the FAQ. The terms will be added soon, of course, on the launch day. And after the crowd sale ends in 30 days, people will be able to see the UCI Coin main website. It's already there, but you cannot. It's not public yet until we finish the crowd sale. And also, people can take more information from, like you said, u-ci.org. They could click on UCI Coin tab on the page and read more about UCI Coin.
Excellent.
And if they have, yeah.
I have a question for you. Are you concerned? I know you're located outside of the U.S. You mentioned that you're based in Switzerland, and you're calling from Beirut. Are you concerned at all about American legislation?
Well, about American legislation, can you explain more about that?
Yeah, like there are some laws in the U.S. that end up appearing to apply to everyone in the world. For example, a man named Kim.com had his home and base of operations seized in New Zealand for violating some sort of laws in the U.S. So are you concerned that the U.S. government could come after you for your business?
Well, my business will be licensed from as an IBC. IBC is an incorporated company, which will be issued. This license will be issued as an international license for international trading and investment. And this license would allow us to work in any kind of investment online. So we cannot get paid cash by hand. We only can accept wire transfers or cryptocurrencies. So we won't have any problem with regulations or laws, if you understand what I mean.
I do. I follow what you're saying. Was it difficult? Yes?
Yeah, so this license, and since we are not getting paid real money here, we are going getting paid cryptocurrencies, and I'm based currently I'm based in Lebanon, so I fall under the Lebanese laws and regulations. And soon, Sam, can you tell about the UK part and the Switzerland part?
Oh yes, we plan to open offices in the UK and Switzerland. We hope to get a trading license in those branches, and as well as create a network worldwide. So we'll comply with all the regulations that come by. So,
why those places of all the places in the world?
We want to make UCI like a global brand. So we want to appeal to, well, say Europe and Asia as well.
There are lots of countries in Europe and Asia. Why Switzerland and the UK?
We think that, well, I think they're reputable jurisdictions anyway. I mean, UK is pretty welcoming of bitcoins. The Bitcoin Foundation's shown interest in the UK. Switzerland is quite new to the Bitcoin thing, but I think they'll be more welcoming.
Yes, but also to add up on Switzerland side, we are seeking to acquire the STC status for UCI. It means Swiss Trusted Company.
How do you plan to combat cynicism? A lot of people don't believe in new altcoins. How are you going to set yourself apart?
Well, I will answer a part of that, and I will also let my partner answer the other part. Regarding this, we are not in. We are a real company. We are registered, and before starting the UCI coin project, and UCI Coin project is just another project on that list, if you understand what I mean. So we don't want to ruin our reputation with our investors and our client database just because of the project of UCI Coin. We don't need that. So if UCI Coin is going to bring us bad reputation, we would cancel the project and refund the people. So we are just doing UCI Coin like a marketing technique to spread UCI company name around the world, and also to make people more aware about cryptocurrency and more to trust cryptocurrency, that some companies are working honestly about bringing a good cryptocurrency to the market and provide real assets behind that currency, not only digital assets or words or promises, false promises. And we are doing what we can by sharing our profit from the other projects that we are involved into for the people who hold the UCI coin. Also, the concept here is, like I told you before, you know, we are a Lebanese company. We can sell shares. We are a joint stock, by the way, a joint stock company. So we can issue unlimited shares and sell that. But because of the money laundering regulations around the world, we cannot sell our shares internationally in most of the funding for your business. So if you create a cryptocurrency, currently cryptocurrency is almost like doesn't have regulations and it's not counted as money. So we had this idea about creating it and counting the coin as a virtual share in UCI coin. So people internationally could be owners in our project, and we can get funding through this cryptocurrency world, and we would spread our name everywhere, and instead of having only 25 projects, we will have a 50 project. We already have created a big group of people and investors and founders who has paid to become founders in our company, and they already have our road plan or business plan.
Well, it sounds very interesting, and I hope you guys keep working on it. It's UCI Coin at ucicoin.com. Right now, I'm not sure what you're supposed to do. It says you're to download the wallet, but it doesn't have a link to the wallet. So I definitely start working on that. And let us know how it goes in the future. Keep us updated, maybe next week or a couple weeks. Call back. Let us know how the crowd sale goes. Best of luck, UCI Coin.
It's in 1st November. You will see the wallet link.
All right, 1st November. Okay, so just a couple days. So check back then at ucicoin.com.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Sam, do you have anything to add?
Pretty much you summed it up.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Well,
all right, thank you.
Hope to hear from you next week.
You know, we plan to market to say the network market, you know, network marketing and all sorts of segments, crypto moms and all that.
All right, very good. Thank you. Cheers. Well, that was a cool call. I always love to hear about new projects that are happening. It's adventurous. It's brave for people to take on a business idea and to bring that idea.
The real core of what they're doing sounds interesting. They have shares in companies in their own country, and they know that they can't sell those internationally, so they bundled them up into a cryptocurrency, and then they're going to sell the cryptocurrency internationally. I mean, it's really difficult right now for them to get past like the major cynicism in the altcoin market and having communications issues, and the presentation, your internet presentation has to be so good these days. And even then, if your presentation's really good, I also think that you're full of bullshit. If you have one of those scrolly web pages and you're full of design, but you're not full of information, if
It's
you're not
vapid.
telling me like,
Yeah, well, I think they're doing the perfect mix, right? Of focusing on ways that they can help people, ways that they know make money that they can bring to people, and bringing it to the people by calling into a call-in show. You can call in like they did, 1-708-23 coins. Maybe you've got an idea. Maybe you've got an altcoin to push. Skype us, Bitcoin Talk Show, or tweet at BTC Talk. But I think this is a great idea, Thomas, and the reason why is because they're exactly the type of business that I was talking about. The people who are going to say no to the regulation. This sort of thing would not be allowed if it were up to governments, but they're a group of people who are making this happen in a place where they've found the freedom to do it, and they're making it available to people all over the world. So while I might not be putting my own money in this, maybe I will. I'll do my own investigation into it. I just think it's a cool idea that enhances freedom for the whole world. So good for them. I'd like to see more projects like this.
very cool. Never mind my typing here.
Okay, I won't mind your typing then. But anyway, what else? Oh, we got another call. We know this guy. Hey, Theo. It's Theo from the World Crypto Network, everybody. Bitcoin Potato on Twitter. What's
I
up?
just sent him the link on Twitter as well if he wants to check that.
Oh, he should check that so he
Well,
can.
I've got this really cool project,
Yeah.
and I'm bundling together all of my coffee and my milk and sugar and water, and I'm going to release it as a crypto coin. Would you like to buy some?
Yes, because it's a real it's asset backed.
Because the thing is that what it is here in Germany they have really good bread, but you can't buy it in America because it's here. So
Yeah.
what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the bread into a form of cryptocurrency so that everybody can get some. And we don't have a wallet, and we have a limited time public offering, so you have to start right away. And if you just head over to coinprofit.com, profit like Jesus, then
Now, I want to ask, first of all, do you have a countdown timer? This thing's breaking all the time now.
not even any mention of it. There's no mention of it on the entire website.
Because without a countdown timer, I don't know how much to buy or when to buy it.
Damn. Okay, I'm gonna have to do that. That's a good idea. I got to get.
Also, are you doing the confusing auction format? Because I also want to be confused which day I should buy the thing on. I don't want it to be straightforward in any fashion.
Okay. Well, let me explain then. It's actually quite simple. Okay. So if you want to participate in the bread coin auction, first you have to sign up at coinprofit.com, then send bitcoins to the CoinProfit Bitcoin address that you get when you log into coinprofit.com. Then from there, you buy flour and water coin. And only with those, then you can participate in the auction for bread coin. Got it?
It sounds a lot like Minecraft, and I like that.
Yeah, it is really confusing. Sorry, I was just joking around. I mean, I hope that everyone has the best intentions. I don't mean to make fun of people in a bad way, but I just can't help it.
It seemed like you
Okay,
were
wait a minute.
lampooning asset-backed currencies, but don't you think their idea is different? The people who just called in about UCI coin, isn't their idea different than bread because they're actually selling, like?
No, bread is one of the best assets ever. Everybody needs bread. So basically, it's like this.
Yeah, but bread doesn't
Yep.
make much money. It doesn't pay dividends.
Bread doesn't make much money. Let's look at the market cap for bread worldwide. Do we have that on? Do we have access to that?
No, I'm just saying bread sitting there doesn't make money, and like shares of a stock does.
Not necessarily. Shares of a stock also lose money.
Now, hold on. When shit hits the fan, do you want a stock or bread?
Come on.
I'm just joking around.
Well, remember what Nick said, and it's very wise. What you're gonna want is toilet paper and little jars of whiskey, like little bottles of whiskey, because They're going to be tradable like actual currency, not like pieces of silver or pieces of gold that you could use if you're trying to build a microcomputer. Actual little jars of whiskey are going to have value, and toilet paper. Like, that's smart. Like,
This thing about bundling things that you can't trade, like they're talking about, it's just that it's hard for me to trust people enough because I don't have any. I mean, I know they came on. That's cool. Maybe they do a whole transparent thing, and
Yeah, that was one of my questions that I didn't get to. Is how are you going to independently audit this thing? How am I going to know it's legit?
exactly.
they're already down the rabbit hole because the companies that they're selling stock in are companies that they own. So they say they have a bunch of ATMs, but we don't really know that they have a bunch of ATMs. But I do have an update from the chat room. I want to keep us on the chat. If you hold bread stock long enough, apparently you can harvest PCP from the bread mold. So
Yes. Now
bread
wait.
is once again an incredible IPO that Theo has launched. Bread coin. You can't buy. Remember, there are multiple layers to this. You can't buy bread coin unless you get flour and water coin first.
Now wait a minute. Let me. Now there's even another layer that you have to understand, but let me get to that right away. So this is what it's all about. And if you have enough bread coin, then you can also get beer coin. And if you have beer and bread coin, then you can get civilization coin. Because in reality, we don't know what was created first, beer or bread. The archaeologists have found evidence, and they found all of the ingredients for bread and beer, but they can't decide what was made first. So probably people were trying to make bread, and they probably messed up, and something happened, and they made beer, or they made something more like PCP. We don't know exactly. And then, or maybe they made bread first. We don't know. But bread and beer were probably made around the same time, which is very interesting. And both of those have a lot of value. So actually, that was the whole thing.
And you're the world's first person to launch a coin on bread and beer and flour and water. Is that correct, Theo?
No, I'm not doing it because I'm not doing anything, and it's not backed by anything, and this is purely for entertainment value. Hello, SCC.
Exactly. Nothing is backed by anything. Nothing pays any dividends. What's your take on the whole November surprise, Theo? Are they going to shut down Doge Party and Counter Party and all the other parties?
I like the concept of counterparty. I like the concept of Doge Party. I like this concept of clearinghouse, and I don't know. I don't really get into this next thing. Just the whole vibe doesn't. I don't know. I just don't get it. And
I like it. I like it too, but that doesn't mean it's going to be legal. We're going to find out.
well, no, it's not. It's software, just like any software. You can use it illegally and illegally. It just depends on how you use it. So Counterparty is a forkable software. So that.
Can we make a distinction when we're talking about legal and illegal between moral and immoral?
Not really, because laws are not moral or immoral. They're just laws.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Can we please make that distinction? Because it's like
Okay, all right. Well, we can make a simple okay.
it's not like you're doing anything untoward by forking this
hold on.
software, right?
No. Forking is totally fine
It
and
was
okay.
never untoward when he forked her.
No, what I mean is that from an ethical or moral or whatever word you want to use point. I mean, I can scam people using Bitcoin. I can scam people using an asset I created on Counterparty, or I can scam people on an asset I made on Doge Party. I can scam people on an asset I made on Next. I can scam people on a.
I can scam people without creating an asset. I can just say I created an asset.
Wait a minute, I'm trying to go through every asset program we have so far. No, platform we have so far. I'm just joking. I can't even do it in one sentence. It's so many yet now. But, I mean, that's what I mean. So, and typically, frauding people is illegal. Not always.
And immoral.
And immoral. Okay,
It's always immoral.
If government frauds us, that's okay. But if it's the other way around, That's not okay, typically. Anyway, that's the moral statement I have right now.
Okay.
We
Well,
have an update from the chat. Brandon Johnson, who apparently knows all kinds of things that you can do with bread, says that probiotics can also occur from naturally fermented breads and beer. So the value of bread coin continues to increase. Tone P adds, you can't fork bread coin, you need to butter it up.
Oh, great.
That's awesome.
Okay, I'm gonna look for this video hangout link thing, and then you guys can take a break from me for a second.
Yeah, I like that. We're going to take a break from you anyway, and we're going to talk to Blake Anderson instead.
What's up, my good buddies? How is everybody doing in this love fest of an awesome place right now?
Vegas, right?
Resizing images, getting ready to show the people the incredible Photoshop that I modified.
Oh, Thomas
Here it
is
is.
ready to show us. What is it, Thomas?
Fear and Bitcoin in Las Vegas. The Finite Photoshop. But I put Blake's face over Chris Ellis's face. And I put a QR code over Marguerite's face. But
You can't stop here. This is Bat Country.
exactly. This is like what's going to happen in just a few days if you donate to the QR code on your screen right now.
We'll use it all to buy ether.
My only worry was the ether. There's nothing more irresponsible or depraved than the man in the depths of an ether binge. That rotten stuff soon.
Hunter Thompson's great. I knew that I was on the ether, and I only had to give the turnstile attendant $2. But when I got there, everything went wrong.
Suddenly you start mumbling like some Irish drunk in an old Irish novel. But he
Blake,
puts
I
you
wanna
through the
know,
turnstiles. and lets
Were
you-
you one of the people who was complaining about oh my God, the nuclear option was exercised, FinCEN, going crazy, SmackDown this week? I was seeing a lot of posts on Twitter and Facebook about it, but I didn't remember seeing you complaining about that.
Well, I was kind of neutral on it. There's this entire thing. I've almost become kind of a consultant in the space, going in and trying to tell people, this is securities fraud. This isn't securities fraud. This is how you issue a security. This is what a security is. So it kind of went along with, I don't want to go and give away all of my secrets, but at the same time, it's like you got to be compliant with the people that are going to lock you in a cage. So I guess I'm still trying to decide what I want to say about it and how to best guide people, because I don't want to say something and have people react to that in such a way that they think everything is fine and then go to federal prison for securities fraud. That would be probably the worst possible case scenario.
I wouldn't want that on your hands either, but I'm just curious, maybe you can answer this basic question. Would every Bitcoin company be better off outside the U.S.?
I can't imagine that every single other place on Earth would be better than the U.S., but the U.S. is getting to be a pretty not good place to do business and have business be done. It's getting to be kind of a sticky trap, so a lot of people want to go to Singapore or offshore or Switzerland or Cayman Islands and stuff like that. That's become popular, but at the same time you have to look at what is that going to mean for the reputation and how your company is perceived if you're offshore. So it's kind of a give and take, mixed balance. What do you want to have the regulatory constraints be, and what do you want your appearance in the space to be?
What's the most legit seeming offshore place? Singapore?
That's a really subjective question. It's hard to know. I think that Switzerland is pretty good. The Cayman Islands have obviously been chosen a lot by the Federal Reserve to liquidate some of their scams. So I don't know if that's the best advertisement for legitimacy of the Cayman Islands, but apparently it's comfortable there for Bernanke and his cronies.
Bitcoin Potato joins us. Oh, no.
Switzerland sounds nice.
You spooked him. You spooked him out of here, man.
He was creeping up on this conversation, not saying anything, so I thought
Man.
well, I was not concerned about it, but I never am. I try and not follow the federal government and what they say, but I realize that it makes a big difference to the people who are, controlling millions of dollars and trying to make sure that they don't lose it to thugs in black uniforms.
Yeah, I mean, there's kind of two things that happened. First of all, there was a round of papers that were sent out to companies in the Bitcoin space that had taken investment capital in such a way that they were promising quote-unquote shares and future profits and stuff. And there's a very specific way that you can do that where it's not securities fraud, but unless you do it in consult with a lawyer and have it, right down the line of how do you have, earnings of your company be company-owned and have the employers in it. If you don't do that with an attorney and you're not really careful about it, that's pretty much securities fraud.
So can we talk? I realize that you're a specialist in the area and you know the ins and outs of the legalities, but can we just talk about the morality of it? Like, what would be the moral way? Let's set aside the law, ignore that there's this regulatory nightmare that companies would have to comply with, and let's just say I want to start a business that issues securities. What do you think I am obligated to tell my customers?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's due diligence. There's stuff that has been around for a long time. I mean, like contract law, mutual assent, both people understanding what's going on, the implications of what's going on, who's getting what's going to be valued at what time, what the investment horizon is. And this stuff is supposed to come about due to regulation, but regulation has come to mean unilateral quote-unquote laws from the state. But laws and regulations are not the same. The conflation of law and regulation has made it really confusing for us nowadays. What regulation is supposed to be is a whole bunch of companies that come together and decide with one another how they're going to keep business regular for customers, and then they voluntarily all engage in it. And companies that don't generally are not as well off as the companies that do, and then there's a natural incentive to abide by these regulations that are best practices in the industry. That has been bastardized into a unilateral set of instructions from the government on how to do things and how to comply, which leads to capture. And regulatory capture, as probably most of our listeners will know, is one of the most pernicious features possible of a collectivist state, government, socialism, communism, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because I want to get behind the businesses and the people who are performing moral business, regardless of whether or not they're complying with whatever the laws are. Like, I didn't see any complaints. Maybe I was not paying enough attention, but I didn't see any complaints about the Silk Road, for example, before it got shut down. No people saying like, oh, I didn't get what I was asking for. No, like major complaints like, oh, all my Bitcoins disappeared. That sure did happen afterwards, but we didn't hear about that before. Isn't that all correct?
Yeah, and I agree. Like, the Silk Road was a great marketplace. It's a great market. People were happy. People loved it. It got shut down. It was a tragedy. But things like, if I can get a little bit edgy here, things like BitNation. BitNation wanted to do none of the regulatory compliance things that were required almost anywhere on Earth, simply for the reason that, well, that's a law somewhere, and we don't care about the law, so we're not going to do that. But on the other side of that token, there's some things that you should probably have worked out, like conflict resolution, share structures, what's going on with the company, what product you're offering, and BitNation didn't. And in my opinion, they became a kind of a big embarrassment for the community. And I don't want to be like, you're embarrassing my community or this or that. But at the same time, you don't want to structure a company with a box of air and then say, well, buy this at your own risk. So I would say that somewhere between BitNation not having, anything and Silk Road not having anything, and one being a bad product and one being good, that you're right. We should all take it upon ourselves to try to find what is the best, most moral, just because the government says it's good or just because the government says it's bad. Let's try to use our own individualistic moral compass to figure out where to go and what to do.
Yeah, exactly. The reason I try and draw a distinction is because I see myself, I'm setting myself up years from now for being the cheerleader for some of these companies that are not complying with government regulations, but are being moral and are giving their customers the information that they would demand in a freed market. If there weren't these governments forcing them to do certain things or threats of jail time, I want to root for those companies that are doing the right thing because I want them to succeed, especially if they're being non-compliant. Because I think it's about time that people in the business world took some risks. I mean, obviously they take risks going into business, but then take some risks saying no to authority. It's up to them. They're the ones in power.
Yeah, definitely, and I think that the kinds of regulations that you're talking about are going to be ones that the government is saying you have to do this, and the reason for it is clearly capture. It's incontrovertibly regulation in the name of capturing business and deep capture, whatever you want to call it. those kinds of regulations, if they are being kicked to the curb and the company is a moral actor, I think that they deserve an incredible amount of support. But it's very important to distinguish and not conflate companies that are, not doing things that would be, common sense, and the ones that are, really casting off that mantle of heavy capture-oriented regulation.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. Like, wasn't on paper wasn't God? Mark Karpelis' company escaping me at the moment.
Mount Gox.
There we go.
Empty Gox.
Empty Gox. Yeah, weren't they on paper? Weren't they compliant with everything? And
yeah, Magic the Gathering online exchange was 100% compliant in Japan.
In Japan, but the Trilateral Commission learned some things about Japan and Europe and North America through David Rockefeller's dollar, and I never did any business with Mt. Gox, and I actually feel bad that I wasn't a more vocal voice in the community about maybe people shouldn't do that, because some people got burned that I maybe would have been able to steer away, but at the same time I didn't want to be out there be like, I'm against the biggest 80% of Bitcoin trades go on, so I guess in the future I'll have to learn from that.
Yeah, and also people should learn. Let's talk about what happened there. It was a pretty big deal, but there were a few simple things going on that should have set off some alarms. For example, you send Bitcoin there, you sell your Bitcoin, and they say, okay, you can cash out. Give us your your info, your passport info, and all the standard stuff that a regulated business would need, and we'll send it over to your bank. But then it never came. It just never came. Nobody got their fiat payouts, or they got them really slow. I think in America they just stopped completely, and in Europe they took 6 weeks if they came at all. That should have, and that was happening, I don't know, I think in August last year or sometime. So that was way before the nuclear meltdown at Mt. Gox, and you could have still gotten, your Bitcoin out of there.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
It was clear they weren't paying out fiat, so something is fishy. You just got to say, okay. I mean, it would be different if they said fiat payouts turned off. Sorry, guys, that's it. No, they didn't do that. They acted like everything was normal, and they just, answered their support mails really slow or not at all, or really cryptic, and that should have set out big time alarms. Why am I still doing business there?
Yeah.
Another thing is, why did people send Bitcoin there? Well, for arbitrage. It was, what was it, like 10% higher than most other exchanges, maybe more. So it's very easy. What do? I send my money to Bitstamp or Coinbase, or I don't know, wherever.
It was an arbitrage honeypot, and that's why it became insolvent.
Exactly.
The price was unsustainable.
An arbitrage honeypot. Exactly.
But I think with the like, if we want to self-regulate, the lesson that we learned from Mt. Gox is that we cannot have a fictitious token substrate which is operating on an exchange. Well, what does that mean? It means that they weren't using the blockchain; they were using their own accounting system removed from the blockchain, and that has to be a gigantic red flag in the future. And we all need to say, hey. This isn't how this should be. We don't want to have naked shorting and paper markets and all that stuff that happened with everything else. That's, I think, one of the most important things to take away from the Gox collapse.
So you mean there was Mt. Gox coins that were not based on the real Bitcoin, basically?
Exactly. Yep. They were the Magic the Gathering trading card token representers that were being traded as if they were Bitcoin, but they weren't.
Are there any other exchanges currently which follow that same model?
I believe so. I'm not going to get into that directly right now. I might do some research and look up what I'm going to say. I don't want I don't want any tort lawsuits. So maybe we'll save that for another day.
Concerned about a tort lawsuit against you for speculating about other Bitcoin businesses that operate that way?
Absolutely.
Why? I'm not saying you shouldn't be. I'm just asking why.
Well, I mean, slander is very serious, and if you say something that's untrue, even if you recall it, if you get wrapped up in a tort lawsuit, if people know that you have access to this or that or funds or do this or say that, then people can just come and be like, lawyer up, and then bend you over. So I don't want that to happen. In addition to that, I don't want to create business harm or tort to anybody anyway. So.
Yeah, I understand you wouldn't want to do any harm to anyone. I just find it interesting that in the age of information, your information is a liability.
Yeah, it's been a funny paradigm for me for a while. I seem to know things that get me in trouble quite often.
Yeah.
Let's move on to another topic. The chat room wants to talk about the Cripsy lawsuit. As the chat room recounts here, Cripsy was sued, and according to the Cripsy blog, it's one user that sued Cripsy. One upset person. So, what have you guys heard about the Cripsy lawsuit?
I think that's total bullshit. Excuse me. I think so, but I don't have any evidence or whatever. The reason is that would contradict what it says on the lawyer's website that is conducting the lawsuit, or that single user was doing millions of dollars of business, because the lawyer is claiming millions of dollars of damage. So if it's only one user, then it's one user going after millions. I mean, I don't know. Lawyers come up with all kinds of stuff. Then it's just one user that
ends with the phrase, "Please turn on 2FA on your Cripsy account," which to me it's a nice idea, but it's also, shouldn't that be automatic? Shouldn't you just turn it on for all your users now? Like, we should be taking responsibility.
So there's a reason. Okay, so we were talking about alarm signals. Although a lot of people, it's a shame actually about Cripsy. First of all, this is why I think it's a shame, because like, let's say about a year ago or more than a year ago, when Cripsy existed, exists now, when it was around then, it was one of the main places where people would get exposure to altcoins. And altcoins are interesting, whether you, of course, they're pumped and dumped and all that kind of stuff. But you couldn't find a place to buy a bunch of strange, obscure coins except basically at Cripsy, or you'd have to, trust a person-to-person exchange somehow, someone that's kind of shady. So that's why it's a shame, because it's no longer going to be there. Alarm signals that should have gone off is that they never got their site right. It was always really laggy. It was always kind of, they just had nonstop problems. I can't even get into which ones. I don't know which coin or whatever, but this coin had a problem. These account balances weren't showing up. These accounts weren't showing up. Deposits took forever. Withdrawals took forever. Support tickets took forever to get answered. And it wasn't just one time, 2 times, 3 times. It was pretty much nonstop. Anyone else want to say anything about Cripsy?
Nope.
Negatory. Negatory, Julio.
Moving on, next topic, Derek.
Hey, I'm throwing a party this weekend, and it's all to benefit Ross Ulbricht. He's a hero of mine. If he is guilty of operating the Silk Road website, then he's a hero for making the black market a safer place. And if he's not guilty, then he's an innocent man who's behind bars, and he deserves my help and the help of others who support his efforts. FreeRoss.org is the website. I believe we're all supporters. We've all donated, continue to donate to support his legal defense. And the purpose of the dance party that I'm throwing, it's a big costume dance party happening in Keene, New Hampshire. Woo! It's going to be a lot of fun. And the purpose is to raise money for Ross's legal defense. Every dollar that goes in will go to Ross. So you can just support Ross, FreeRoss.org. Or if you're in the Keene area, come to my dance party. It's going to be a lot of fun. Saturday night.
Wish I could be there.
Keenvention.info for more details.
There's also a new interview with Ross Ulbricht's mother on Tatiana Moreau's YouTube channel. So check that out at youtube.com/forevertatiana. I think that's it. Or you could follow her on Twitter. But yeah, check that out. It's Lynn Ulbricht. So.
And I would also say, follow the case, because basically, if you talk to Lynn about this, she'll say that they have 2 choices. They can either violate the 4th Amendment to fictitiously, quote-unquote, prove that he ran the site, or they can't do that. And this is not the standard by which we want to have the law operating in this country. So if he gets convicted, regardless of the fact that they flagrantly violated the 4th Amendment, that is something that should upset everybody that pays attention to this. And if that happens, we need to make a lot of noise about that. Tell people, write letters, do everything we can. I mean, I know it seems marginal, but the more we can be upset about the rule of law being usurped in the most vicious way possible, the better.
Boy, I agree with that.
If
And,
the government's willing to break the law to uphold the law, what do they really stand for?
Yeah, man, it's not good. This is a landmark case, and it really is. It's not just a platitude. This is an important case.
freerust.org. Anything else we got tonight, boys? I say we wrap it up and go home. You're silent, Thomas. You're talking and saying stuff, but you sure are muted.
No, I was just going to plug again the Money 2020 convention in Las Vegas, and that Blake and I are going. And if you have any questions you'd like us to ask any CEOs, maybe any lists of questions, you can go ahead and put them up on Twitter. And if you want to donate, we've got these helpful QR codes. Go straight to a Bitcoin wallet. We're trying to raise around $750, which I don't want to freak you out, but in today's Bitcoin price, that's more than 2 Bitcoins. So this is quite a lot that we're asking, but if anyone out there wants to donate and help send us to Vegas, we're not going to be gambling or wasting any money. We're living on the cheap here, going to the Howard Johnson. We're not even at the Con Hotel, but this is a very fancy conference. As it says on the webpage, it shrunk down, but there it is, 7,000 attendees, 700 CEOs from 2,500 companies and 60 countries.
Yeah, it costs like $3,000 to get in, so we're gonna try to go in and like interview the CEO of Visa. We're gonna try to interview Ben Losky, see if we can rustle his jimmies. It'll be a good time, definitely.
That is great. Go interview all of those people and ask them, so is your credit card good at protecting my data? Or, what do you think about Dairy Queen getting hacked? Did you ever eat ice cream there?
What gives them the right to make rules over you? That's what I want to know.
That'd be a good question too. Let's ask him.
Or what about credit card companies just buying the hacker data that they hacked instead of like plugging the holes? What are you guys doing?
That's one risk management strategy. Just print enough money to buy any.
Yeah, exactly.
To steal from
I mean,
the
I don't
horde.
know. I don't know for sure that's what's going on, but I heard people say that's what they think is going on. But I don't know what uncomfortable. I mean, you could also just open up with some lighter questions like, what kind of music do you like, or what's your favorite football team, and
What
then go
is
hard.
your favorite color?
Right, and then yeah, exactly.
When is that again?
That's November 2nd through 5th. So it's starting this Sunday. We're flying out there, and we'll be there next week.
That's exciting, man. Good luck.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Dogecoin is this Friday in Berlin, and if you're in Berlin, then get up with me. So Dogecoin conference, Europe, first ever, which is important in crypto, first ever Dogecoin conference in Europe, in Berlin this weekend.
So it's the second annual.
No, it's the first ever in Europe.
10th anniversary.
Theo brings up a good point, and before we close out, I'm going to open up this box. Are you ready? What's in the box?
I've been wondering this whole episode.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
Tell me what's in the box.
What's in the box? Come on! What's in the plastic wrap?
He's got the upper hand. Don't open the
Piece
box.
of paper. And the Doge car. A little piece of history. The Joss Wise number 98 Doge Hot Wheel. Complete with Doge on the front. And I don't know, I guess we were big fans of Doge at the time, and I got some for my roommates too. So, Doge cars for everybody. Woo!
Are we going to interview
that took like
Jackson Palmer at Money 2020?
6 months of waiting.
Do you think Jackson Palmer's going to be at Money?
Dude, probably. I don't know. Is Doge money? I thought it was more of a tip.
Okay, wait. So there's something else about the Dogecoin on Friday. There is an app called Doge Rain, and with this app, you can get free Dogecoin by simply having the app open. And at approximately 8:30 German time, which is like 2:30 Eastern, there's going to be a Dogecoin monsoon So if you have this app turned on and open, then you're going to get a whole bunch of coins theoretically.
Cool.
Sounds pretty
Yeah,
cool.
so that's also another wallet. We didn't go over that. But the cool thing, it's also a kind of wallet. They're calling it a play wallet. And the cool thing is, I don't know if I can open it quick enough, or if Derek, you got to go to your meeting, right?
No, not today.
Okay, sorry.
While you're opening
What I
it.
was going to
I
say
also
is
got
that
a hat
the
from
cool thing
Bitcoin
is,
Not Bombs and a patch at bitcoinnotbombs.com. And I got a free T-shirt from MadeSafe. So thank you very much to Project Safe, which also has a cool back. Look at all
okay,
those ants.
so I've got the wallet here. I got the Doge Rain thing here.
Doge.
Okay, and so if you had this same one open, and I just go like this, well, of course, the demonstration won't work. Shit. Anyway, I slide it. Yeah, okay, this is what it is. You know what it is? Is that I'm hyper paranoid, and I always have my GPS, Google, and all other tracking off. And it is true for this app to turn your GPS on. Because what it's going to do, it's going to send the Dogecoins to the nearest person to you. Just whoever has the app, the next person nearest to you with the app open is going to get the Dogecoin. One Dogecoin at a time. You swipe and it makes the noise and it gives it to you. So that could be a really easy way to give people coins if they had it for Bitcoin or another coin, because there wouldn't be any technical know-how needed. You just open it up and you go, okay, here you go. And all the people in the area have a little bit.
Is this an Android-only app?
I think there's a Mac version. Doge Rain, check it out. And
All
turn
one
on
word?
my Doge Rain. Yeah, DogeRain.io is the website, and it's free.
Yeah, it's got an Apple version.
Yeah, it's free, and it's a pretty cool idea. And maybe later when they've got to do, but everybody is asking this kind of stuff, so they just have to decide how and if they're going to do it. I mean, they were saying, yeah, they can't. It's kind of like a fun app, so they can't imagine. They thought Bitcoin is so serious that it doesn't really fit to it, but which I also get. Hold on, let's see if I can. Okay, wait.
I heard that sound. Does that mean you dropped some coin?
Mine says I have no Dogecoin. It barked at me. Or keep app open to collect.
So
Doge.
So it also shows me I 3, and the last person that got one is Shibe5735 in Prague. Just got one of my Dogecoins, for example. So I really like this idea. It's just fun, but it's also cool. It's you're just also, if you leave it open, you get some back. People also send it to you. I mean, theoretically I'm in the minus, but that's just because I was playing around with it a lot, and I don't think that's the point. The point is just to give it to people. What if you're at a bar and you say, hey, do you guys, are you heard of Dogecoin? And everyone's like, okay. You're like, okay, download the app, and then you just go like this, and then everybody has some, basically. Okay, that's my wallet review today.
Very cool. And we'd also like to thank Roberts and Roberts at rrbi.co. Oh, look, I got 3 Dogecoins. So there it is. It worked. So I got 3 Dogecoins, and you can buy silver and gold for Bitcoins at rrbi.co. I'm going to try it later today. I think.
So does it show who?
Got ready
If you go into the info or something on that app, you can see who sent you the Doge.
It says to the moon. History. Says 3 Dogecoins from Jakoshi in Seattle, United States. I'm a good shibe. Okay.
Can they send messages along with their coin? Like, can you be like, do something good, like buy a homeless man a drink or something.
It doesn't seem like it.
What you can do is you have a you. Well, this is what you can do. You have a username and you have a kind of small slogan you can put with it, and so when they go back, and their idea is right now they don't make any money with the app, but idea called where if you're a company, then you could sponsor a free giveaway, or
Cool.
this like bot is automatically giving out at different times, and there's like a little maybe there's like a clickable link or something like that. Of course, there would it wouldn't be just anyone. They would make sure it's a reputable company or whatever. But that sounds like a cool idea, and
Yeah.
I think that's a real interesting marketing concept. Just to
I
give
think
it
it's
away like
fun.
that.
It's like a faucet, but it's a game.
Exactly.
They could
Exactly.
add more game elements to it. There's a lot.
Exactly.
So.
So imagine. So this is what's going to happen at DogeCon at 8:30, like at the peak. Everybody is going to get their apps out and send like crazy. So I don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be really
Oh,
interesting.
neat.
I think.
That's the monsoon that's going to happen, right?
Exactly.
Cool.
Exactly.
I dig it. Got anything else, fellas?
All right.
On Bitcoin Talk Show today? I got a little something.
Nope.
I'm going to get the rumor mill started a little bit here, but there are a lot of businesses that accept Bitcoin here in Keene. But now to stand out, they have to offer an extra incentive. So there's a store that is opening this week which has announced that it will not only accept Bitcoin, but it will accept it at a discount. And it will have a Bitcoin vending machine available in the store for use. So customers could theoretically save money on every purchase just by purchasing some Bitcoin and buying them with that. Pretty cool. So I would like to see that be the new wave of the future. Like, oh yeah, well, of course we accept cash and credit cards, but if you want to send us Bitcoin, we prefer that. Incentivize it in some way. Make it easy for the customers. So I think that's an exciting business model. I look forward to seeing how that does.
Sounds very cool. Keep us updated.
Will do. Well, until next time, we should do this again on Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. What time is it in Belgium, Theo? All right, Theo. Well, we'll do it that time next week, too.
Bye, Theo.